It's a pleasure to introduce our speaker. Take it away, Solomon.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate the intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Solomon Gabara. I'm a student at the University of New Mexico studying business administration going into my fourth year, my senior year. And I am developing a software in an early stage company called ValidSync, and I'll get into that. A little bit about me, because I didn't put in the slideshow, so I'll talk about it. Yeah, student at UNM, raised here in Albuquerque. My parents were born and raised in Nigeria. They immigrated and landed here in the US over 20 years ago. I was born in Iowa, eventually found our way here. And I've been here for over 17 years. Love it here and love the community that you guys have here. So thank you for that. And yeah, what is ValidSync and where it began? So firstly, I was part of through C&M Ingenuity, an entrepreneurship incubator program that helps rising young stars and talent, help train them to become better entrepreneurs by pressure testing unmet needs in different industries. And one of the ones I pressure tested was a unmet need in the real estate industry. John, the guy you see on this screen, is a realtor and close mentor and friend of mine. And we talked about a project that I did like 7 years ago back in high school, where I worked on helping him with some of the problems he was facing in his business. And one of the problems that was mentioned, I can figure out how to use the clicker, thank you, was better helping verify the contractors that realtors like John work with, especially for the client who normally is facing a significant amount of pain in some way, shape, or form. This usually comes through different situations like a brokerage, like Coldwell Banker, for example. There were two realtors that hired an unlicensed contractor to work on a couple of properties, and the work that that contractor did on those properties was not ideal whatsoever. And the clients found out that they were unlicensed and sued those brokers. The qualifying broker was at fault, as well as the other realtors. And Coldwell Banker and a couple other institutions like Keller Williams lost a significant amount of money. And I'm trying to help solve that problem for clients so they strengthen the relationships that they have with realtors, because realtors are bringing in good, verified contractors. Some of the things I've evaluated is how this problem is solved currently. Currently, you have to go through NMRLD, the state's website, New Mexico Regulations and Licensing Department. The reason that isn't ideal is because the site's a little outdated. Realtors and other real estate professionals don't get updates when licenses and credentials change over a specific period of time. And most real estate professionals just simply rely on unlicensed contractors, hoping for the best. And there's a pool of folks that get away with it, and there's a pool of folks that don't and are held liable for it. And yeah, last point is just reiterating that a lot of folks skip the process of vetting in general, and I think I can help solve that problem. I've done a little over 60 customer discovery meetings, meeting with professionals, getting an idea for what pain are you facing, how can it be solved, and what are they doing to solve it today? And one of the things I've been asking myself as I've been going along this entrepreneur journey, pressure testing this idea, is why hasn't something like this been solved sooner? And I've asked a number of professionals about this, and one person comes to mind, Cassandra Morrison, qualifying broker for a brokerage called Real Broker. She mentioned that realtors and other professionals like her don't have time to build systems that automate processes like these. They're strapped up going after the money, going after the close, and they see vetting as more of an administrative task rather than a critical business strategy to help strengthen the relationships that they have with their clients. This is ValidSync. It's I built a prototype, and it's a software that does everything that I mentioned, helping verify the contractors that realtors are working with by verifying their license information and insurance through certificate of insurance, as well as alerting and proactively notifying professionals, hey, this person's license is going to expire or change in a short period of time, giving them the notice they need to act and move forward with whatever renovations that they're working on to get their client the house that they want. Oh, and lastly, building trust. I think a software like ValidSync, the one I'm building currently, helps strengthen the relationships that these realtors have with their clients. And when I spoke to clients that have worked with realtors, a lot of clients meet with realtors with already a wall that states basically, I don't trust you. I'm not sure if I can. I don't trust you, and it makes me very resistant to continue moving forward with whatever it is that we're working on, closing the deal on the house, looking at stage properties, etc. I think a software like ValidSync can help reduce and mitigate that. Some of the benefits that ValidSync has to offer, like I mentioned, giving brokers the confidence they need, and contractors want to change the name of the game for the state of New Mexico when it comes to contractors specifically. The folks that should win are the ones that are verified, insured, and licensed, and they also do the job good, and then assuring that the client is happy in the end. So a couple of the problems that I'm facing right now as I'm building this is one, working with the state and MRLD. I've gotten a couple connections to work with them to see if we could partner and either build an API that connects to their database to make a software like this work, or use a scraper in order to do that work for me. So I'd love some feedback on that. And one of the other things I'm also struggling with as well is I have a working prototype, but in terms of going after my first customer, I'm trying to build a system that allows me to automate my process entirely, or which is what I've been thinking about doing specifically, is having sort of a human in the loop sort of system, if that makes sense, where the realtor requests the license, I get a notification that they're doing it. I go directly to the state's database and get that to them, document that process, and deliver that to a developer so they can help automate it better for me. So yeah, that's that. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'm welcome to any feedback. So thank you guys.
Thank you. So those of you with questions, form a line over here. And when you get up to ask your question, there are two things that are important. One is to point the microphone directly at your mouth, not like this, because no one can hear anything. So right at your mouth. And the second thing is to introduce yourself and say what company you're with. So I'm Paul Sutter with Equity. So I'm not a software developer, but I get from the end of your talk, you have three options: the sort of human assisted, I'll go do the screen scraping myself, an automated screen scraper, or relying on the state to build an API. Is that right? Okay. And the state moves slowly, right? How many believe that? And raise your hand. Okay, right. Here we are. Somebody works for the city tells you that, right? So, how hard is it to build a screen scraper? Is that standard in software development?
It's not that difficult. The problem, so I've tried doing it, and the problem that I've been facing is I think it's the way that the state structured their website. It collapses after attempting to do it a couple times, and it's really hard to automate that. Yeah.
No one in the audience is surprised. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Hi, Solomon. I'm Erin McQuaid-Wright with Vitalist Coaching. I really enjoyed your presentation, and I know that it is really challenging to be in the beginning stages of something. So I just want to honor you for that and give you credit for being at the beginning. What is on the horizon for you in terms of opportunities that you've already identified that you're looking forward to?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. There's one thing that comes to mind. There's a European Innovation Academy. It's a study abroad entrepreneurship program that happens this summer. Something that I applied for and got into. So thank you for that. So I'm excited for that. Looking to raise funds and work with sponsors in order to get the funding required to do that. So I'm happy to connect with anyone that has any thoughts or feedback on that. Thank you.
So you're actively raising funds to get to this European opportunity?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I have a couple sponsors already. And yeah, so I have the tuition covered, now working on travel and a couple other expenses. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Solomon. John Patrick with the Enchanted Lands Music and Art. And I have two very specific, succinct questions for you. So is the software working currently?
Yes, it's working. So I didn't mention this before. Great question. I scraped some data from the state's website using ChatGPT and manual labor and created a working prototype that does that. You can search for it, it'll pull it up and give you alerts once it changes, but that's only after I have updated the data in the database.
And so if the broker, if you're talking with the broker and they say, oh, we're interested in this contractor, so can your software like specifically go to one contractor and verify their credits, their feedback, and any like Google information about them so that you can verify them quickly? Or is it just covering like everyone that's listed in New Mexico, like in the current database?
It's the second option currently. I know that you can pull the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, and Google data as well. That's something I'm thinking about, but have tabled for right now to just focus on getting data directly from the database.
Well, it's very cool, and I do some part-time work in that business, helping people that way. And I really, hope this works out for you. And I'm rooting for you, and I think it's a fantastic idea. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Phil, you can unmute.
Hi, Solomon. Good presentation, like it. And I liked how you approached the start of your business. I've been a mentor with the National Science Foundation, and you did exactly what we would have taught you to do. And that is you had an idea, you figured out what that idea was, and then you went and tested it in the marketplace. And you got feedback, and the feedback cemented the problems that you thought were there, which is brilliant. It's the right way to go about getting a business. Now I'm going to jump to my third question first, and that was, if you're traveling to the EU, you want to go and do something over there in Europe, how is that going to affect this business here in the US?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for that study abroad opportunity that I mentioned before, the purpose of the program is for students to go in and pressure test software as other business ideas in the program. So I'd be working with other international students to get feedback from them on what I'm building and go through the process along with that to see if there's any applicability in other markets. And using the insights from the mentors that are there to bring them back here and both educate other young and rising stars and apply them to my own business regarding balancing.
All right, so you are going to come back and continue with this project.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so I'm working on building a post-networking reception after the program to showcase what I've learned and how I'm applying it to balancing and what other opportunities have come up because of that as a result.
Right. So working with the state can be difficult. I would suggest going through your Chamber of Commerce. And if you go through the Chamber of Commerce, the people in the chamber, the execs in the chamber will have connections to the state and the relevant people that you need. And generally, if you go into a Chamber of Commerce office, they got a zillion business cards hanging on the wall, and you can actually pick up companies that you think will be useful and helpful to you on how they manage to get themselves licensed and where they get themselves licensed through and how they do it. And that may be a good avenue for you as well. So I'll go to the second part of what I was going to say, and that is you sell a lot of value added. You have found out what the pitfalls are that do not secure a buyer buying a house that wants work done on the house or either selling the house. And so make sure the values that you've identified are front and foremost in your app, all right, and in the way you sell your app. And you've done everything right so far, but now you need to publicly push that out there. So you're doing really well. That's my inputs. I hope they help. And I really hope you're successful at it.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Ms. Solomon, Brooke Nutting with Duck Doula Professionals. Congratulations on being in front of another group, giving your presentation. It's exciting. My question for you is, not all contractors in the state of New Mexico, not all tradespeople in the state of New Mexico are required to be licensed. Do you have a section that you're considering to add to your app, and how are you going to integrate that? And then how are you going to keep track of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think as I'm planning this out, I think something regarding what you just mentioned would be a sort of a phase 3 version of what balancing would look like after being able to work with the state to get access to the database. Then a review system would be in place. And I think that's the difference between what I'm building and something like Angie's List. Contractors have to put in their information. They don't do that because they don't see it as an income generation for them. And if there's license verification in the software, I think along with reviews, though the feedback that people will get from balancing in general will hold more weight and deliver more value. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hello, Miriam Ortiz-Pino, More Than Organized. This is coming along nicely. Everyone's mentioned pieces of what I was going to say. So, the piece about what Phil said, working both the contractor side and the realtor side, brilliant. But you also might want to pull in who the developer is updating the site for the state and see if there's a way to piggyback on that as well, that then could be shopped around to other states in the future. And then what Brooke was just saying about there's a whole bunch of people that don't have to be licensed. And I know when I've approached realtors in the past, they want a fee sometimes to be on the referral system and things. So there's a way to look at the actual real estate business, like the Coldwell Banker office or the Keller Williams office, and see what it would take to add the people on their recommended services lists as well. And then just really play up the time savings and the money savings. You know, Cassandra, I've talked to her before, she's always time pressured. And it's like, but what happens when you don't do it right? And it's a differentiator, I think, both for the realtors and the contractors to be verified that way. Which is something that Angie's List doesn't really do. They say they're verified, but that means the people paid a higher fee to get like, hi, you're great. There's no actual verification. And then I'm wondering if you've thought anything about, I work in a lot of houses where people are moving in and it's like flipped properties and it's so bad. And I'm just wondering if there's another way to market somehow those kinds of concerns from the buyers themselves.
Great feedback, firstly. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. And then just to make sure I'm understanding, you were asking about, I'm already blanking out.
I think it's recorded.
Yeah. Helping or seeing if there's any availability for flippers and buyers to get in on balancing.
Yeah, not necessarily the flipper. Not necessarily the flipper, except it would be nice if they were licensed contractors also doing the flipping. But the buyer to get some sort of reassurance that work was done, maybe inspectors, I don't know, there seems like another layer that could be pulled in for everybody's benefit.
Got it. I haven't thought too much about it. I'll continue thinking about it. I've thought about a little bit. I thought a little bit about a marketing strategy that's specifically for the client or the buyer. Hey, has your realtor use ValidSync to help vet and verify and show, hey, this is the tool you use to do it. So yeah,
Nice, good, good luck.
thank you.
Good morning and good job doing the presentation. Welcome. I'm Kenneth Ingham. I run Kenneth Ingham Consulting and I do cybersecurity. I have a couple of questions for you. The first one's actually not cybersecurity, it's more business related, which is, I don't know that you mentioned what your business model is. How do you make money with this?
Yeah, I didn't. Thank you. Subscription-based model. Yeah, it would be a subscription-based model, 3 tiers. And long-term, this would be a product that would be sold to real estate associations like GAR, the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. They distribute it to the realtors within the association.
Okay, good. That makes sense. And then the other thing is because I do cybersecurity, I can imagine a lot of possible threats here. Have you thought about the threats and how you mitigate them?
I haven't. I know I should.
Okay, well, we can talk at some point about that. I'm sitting over there right now. Yeah, well, the moment I will be. I'm obviously not sitting now.
That sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. I work for Trio Studios Social Media Marketing. And I guess I have 2 questions for you. You kind of answered the first one, but I was wondering if you were planning to do a team up with GAR, because I know it's a great representation to be like, I'm associated with the realtors. That's like a whole. Is that like your plan overall?
That is, yeah, that's one of the strategies I'm trying to take action on to get this implemented here in the state before expanding. So I'm connected to the folks there. They're waiting for me to have an MVP ready so we can pressure test it with them and move forward. So yeah, thank you.
And then I guess my second question is, because I know you're dealing with, or you're trying to deal with scrapers. I'm trying to do something similar, not necessarily the best on social media. People do not like that. But I've been working with virtual assistants essentially across seas, allowing them to do the scraping for me at a lower price range to help me out initially when I'm getting started. Have you thought about something like that for your first initial phases?
I thought about it once, but I haven't taken action on it. I'd love to have a discussion about your experience.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The MVP question made me, or well, this is basically where I'm kind of wondering where you're at on the product development. You said one of your issues was to figure out whether you want to scrape or get better data, whatever. And like the thing that popped into my mind is, has this or when will this go in the hands of some customers so that they can help you answer that question?
Very soon. I have a working prototype, like I mentioned before. I'm planning to do a couple potential customer discovery meetings with them, showing the product and letting them test it and get some feedback, consolidate, iterate.
And I guess if you're talking about doing this hand patch thing, you do realize that there's a lot of back end work that you have. If you thought about how much, I mean, is that a huge amount of work or is that just a little bit amount of work?
Back end by
Fixing data.
fixing data. Yeah, I haven't thought too much about it. I would love thoughts, feedback on that.
Well, it just seems to me like if you have it automatically scraping, that's great, but it might cost you a lot of software development time, right? Because especially if you're scraping. If you're sitting in the background, you might have to consider, okay, every day I have to go in and re-scrape the data, or maybe I just have to, right? I have to get this stuff up to date because, you know, people get licenses every day and right, they come out of, I mean, I guess you could track what the expiration dates are, but you know, you'd have a lot of time. And then going to Europe to do a class while you're trying to do that might be hard. So I don't know which one you might want to think about, like how much time will it take every day or every week, and how much time will it take me to develop?
Those are good things to think about. Thank you. I appreciate it.
morning. My name's Franklin. I'm a farmer and I operate a private foundation. In the business development part, you've specifically targeted realtors, but a lot of my real estate has been industrial buildings. And industrial buildings need contractors continuously. So that's just any type of building, a shopping center. And highly probable they have contractors they developed relationships with over the years, but sometimes those contractors can't meet the needs. Once you have that data list and start having those clients, you'll have also an opportunity to email them updates on scheduled maintenance. In the springtime, turn on the coolers, clean out the gutters. Winter, turn on the heaters. So there's a lot of opportunities there.
That's good feedback. Thank you.
Thanks. Will Couts with Branding Titans. See, I had a couple of thoughts while you were talking about connections and way to possibly inspire the state to do something. Have you talked directly to the board of realtors about the project? If they bought into it, they could be influential with the state. And then if
big lobby presence as well.
yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. And then is there, for the state's motivated by money. So what's the ROI for generating an API for business connections like yours? Is there a market there for them that if you did the legwork on the research, that could also be, hey, look, we're missing out on some cash. This guy brought us an idea.
I think there's an opportunity there. I've thought about being the one that builds the API for them that connects to their database. I learned that they outsource the work of database management to a company named PSI Services LLC. And they're in a contract with them. I don't know the timeline. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts. Thanks.
Okay, and you know this is coming. Why do you do what you do, right?
Thinking about it this whole time. I do what I do because I'm driven. I want to learn. I think the meaning of life is to learn, to adapt, to grow, to change. I think business allows me to do that at a rate that I like.
And so why do you do what you do for your market?
I think I do what I do for the market. I mean, honestly, the real reason is because I think business allows me to have the most impact on as many people as possible. I define impact by change in behavior through inspiration. And yeah, I think building a business, offering a product and service that saves people time, saves them headaches, solves a problem, allows you to impact and inspire them to change their behavior for the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
Hello, Michael Enoch. I have a little bit of an unconventional idea for you. I would suggest that you engage with the state and then essentially keep track of or blog what you're doing. That there is a number of organizations in the state that are to promote open government. There's a legal requirement in the state to make information available to the public. And that in this day and age, it is almost absurd that there is no API available to do this. So I would kind of challenge you with a quest of pursuing that and documenting it and publicizing that as much as possible to see if we can get some changes made to bring the state up to the 21st century. And again, I suggest reaching out maybe to some of those foundations for open government and other things as additional resources along with dealing with the real estate community in pursuing that.
That's good feedback. Thank you.
Steve Cuomo, Santa Fe Fast Week and Beyond Energy. I think you might be overcomplicating this a little bit. I've been a realtor on and off most of my adult life. And when you're a realtor, typically they want like give 3 cards of people to do the business, do the work, so they don't have any liability. So if you just, and it's usually maybe like a roofer, a plumber. I mean, there's like 10, if even that, contractors that might touch a house. And so I think if you just reached out to like 10 companies or 5 or 6 in each group, you can build out your database that way and then go from there. And now you have something you can offer to your realtors. But what I don't understand this whole scraping thing again. So a roofer, a plumber, electrician, I mean, how many different contractors that somebody might need to do if there's an inspection and these find something faulty. So maybe start that way and then build out, but then this way you have something to offer your clients right away. So.
That's good feedback. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great job. It's good to see that we have entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs here in New Mexico. My name's Athena Christodoulou. I'm with Solargetic Designs as well as Udormi. And what I'd like to ask you is, have you contacted the Construction Industries Association?
Division, CID. Yes, I have. Yeah, I've been in contact with them and I've been having some issues. But yeah, I'm in contact with them and they've been moving a little slowly, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So what you're doing is a great idea. Are you familiar or have you met Lisa Beta with the city of Albuquerque? Because she was part of App City Life. And that was also doing something similar and trying to scrape data from government databases. And I would recommend going and talking to her. She's part of the economic development here in the city, and that might be a good connection.
Thank you. I would appreciate an intro. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Ken.
Well, it's my happy task to ask you New Mexico's state question, red or green?
Green.
There it is, folks. Definitive. And what can this community do for you?
Keep doing what you guys are doing. Reach out. I'm always here. I try to be here every week, network. If there's any contacts or people that come into mind that I think that you guys think would be great for me to connect with, let me know. I'd be happy to send you an introduction blurb to make it easier for you to facilitate that intro. Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
It sounds good. All right, everybody, keep up the good work and let's keep it.